So guys, you know that when we are talking about the metabolism of amino acids, one of the major product of this metabolism is the nitrogen containing compounds, specifically ammonia. And you know that ammonia is highly toxic for our bodies. That is why our bodies have to excrete ammonia in the form of a compound which is least toxic, and that is urea. The formation of urea in our body, which specifically takes place in the liver, is known as urea cycle. So let's talk in detail this very important cycle, the urea cycle. So 90% of the urine's nitrogenous components are made up of urea. Urea is synthesized, as I have already mentioned, in the liver, and from liver it is excreted through it is taken to the kidneys, from where it is excreted. The sources of the different components of urea are that nitrogen of the urea comes from the ammonia, which is specifically the free ammonia, and the aspartate, which also give the ammonia component, and carbon and oxygen come from the carbon dioxide. One of the very first product in the urea cycle is the carbamyl phosphate. It is synthesized by the activity of the enzyme carbamyl phosphate synthetase. The carbamyl phosphate is formed because of the ammonia, free ammonia, which comes from different sources, but mainly the glutamate and bicarbonates, and ATP is needed for this reaction, giving rise to the carbamyl phosphate. This carbamyl phosphate then combines with the ornithine to make the citrulline. Keep in mind the amino group here, the ammonia group, which will later become the part of the urea. And also keep in mind that from formation of carbamyl phosphate and then the reaction between carbamyl phosphate and ornithine, which gives rise to the formation of citrulline, takes place in the mitochondria. From mitochondria, the citrulline comes into the cytoplasm, and here it is then converted into arginosuccinate, this arginosuccinate, and the enzyme which is arginosuccinate is formed by the arginosuccinate synthetase, and again ATP molecule is used, which shows the urea cycle is highly energy demanding pathway. Then the arginosuccinate is cleaved, giving rise to arginine, and during this process fumarate is released, which is then utilized in other metabolic pathways. As you have already been studying, that different metabolic pathways are interconnected with other metabolic pathways. They are interconnected both reversibly and irreversibly. Then arginine is acted upon by the arginase enzyme, and it gives rise to the formation of urea. Keep in mind the urea have two amine groups along with the carbon and oxygen atoms. The urea, once is produced in the liver, it has to be excreted, so it becomes part of the bloodstream. From the blood it is taken to the kidneys and is excreted out from the kidneys. This is the path the urea follows after its formation in the liver. Sometimes some urea also enters into the intestine and it is broken down by the bacterial ureases, giving rise to the formation of ammonia, and this ammonia then can also enter into the bloodstream. So, if your urine or your blood test gives a higher amount of ammonia, because some of the urea or even more than the adequate amount of urea is becoming the part of the intestine, then what will happen, that it may lead to the accumulation of ammonia in your body or in your bloodstream, and it indicates some sort of real problems either in your kidneys or either in the procedure or in the process of metabolism of urea. So, as far as the overall stoichiometry is concerned, there are two steps in which ATP molecules are used. 4 ATP molecules are utilized in this process. That's why it's a very energy demanding, irreversible process. Glutamate have a very important role to play. Let me show you how. First, the ammonia, pre-ammonia, actually the ammonia can come from the deamination, oxidative deamination of the glutamate, as you have already studied. And also the glutamate can also give rise to the formation of aspartate, and aspartate then in turn gives you the ammonia, the second molecule of the nitrogen, which become part of the urea. So, in this way glutamate have a very important part to play